Hello, I am back at Dean Cemetery today and I am looking for the final resting place of a railway engineer by the name of Thomas Bush. That's how I'm going to pronounce it anyway. I will put the spelling up for you guys as usual. Um, so he's a railway engineer. It's going to be a bit tricky this video because of all the good things he did, there was one bad thing he did which kind of overshadows everything else, which I'll go into when we get a bit closer to it, I think. Um, so I'll start off by saying I do know roughly where this grave is. I've seen a picture of it, and behind the picture you can see this wall. So I am at the moment just wandering, see if I can find him. So Thomas Bush was born 25th of February 1822 in Thursby near Carlisle. He died 30th of October 1880. Now he's buried in Edinburgh because that's where he lived. He wasn't from here, and I believe he didn't die here either. So as I was saying, he was a British railway engineer. He was manager of the Edinburgh Northern Railway, and he was responsible for overseeing some of the construction of some of the lines as well. And he was overseeing the construction of Waverley Station, I believe, as well, or design at least. Now, one of the good things he did, for those of you who watched all of my videos, when I went to Burnt Island to check out the red plaque, that was actually one of his things. He introduced the world's first roll-on, roll-off train ferry service, which did run from Burnt Island to Granton, or Granton to Burnt Island, however you want to look at it. Yeah, so that's one of the good things he did. Now, unfortunately, what he is most remembered for is the Tay Bridge disaster, because he designed and oversaw the building of the Tay Bridge, which some of you will know quite probably. There was a railway disaster where the bridge collapsed in high winds when there was a train going over it. In sort of a twist of irony, if you like, I'm actually filming this today. We're just coming to the end of a weather warning for high winds. It's a little bit ironic because it was high winds that was partly the cause of the railway disaster in the first place. But I'll get to that more. I'll talk about that when I actually do find his grave. Okay, I'm going to try the other side of the wall, I think, because I'm not seeing it over this side. Yeah, so he designed and was overseeing the construction of the Tay Bridge. Now, he was actually knighted for that work by Queen Victoria, who'd actually ridden over the bridge on a train herself not too long before the accident. And he did actually die not long after being knighted. His cause of death isn't really listed specifically, but the stress of the accident certainly contributed to that, without a doubt. Right, I'm actually going to stop filming for a minute while I see if I can find this grave, and I'll pick up the story again. So I'm going to go check on the other side of this wall. Okay, it's taken a few seconds. There's the gap I just came through. Entrance is just there, and Thomas is just over here. So let's have a look at the grave, and then we'll talk about the disaster. So here he is, so Thomas Bush, civil engineer, birthday and death date there. Yes, so the Tay Bridge, 28th of December 1879, strong winds caused the bridge to collapse. Yeah, and as I said before, there's a train on it at the time, so that led to 75 deaths. Now, Thomas was blamed wholeheartedly for this disaster because of the cutbacks and sloppy work practices, saving money over safety throughout the building of the bridge. There's reports of some of the girders were dropped and then they just used them without checking they were okay. There's problems with the bolts, etc., like that. But yeah, so he was pretty much took the blame full on himself. I don't think he shied away from it and tried to deny anything. But yeah, ultimately, it's what killed him, the stress of it all. And as I said, he did do some good things. It's not all bad, but this is the thing that he's most remembered for, unfortunately. Um, an interesting fact, though, before the Tay Bridge disaster, he had actually submitted a design for the fourth rail bridge, which had been accepted, and they'd even started building. Um, of course, once the disaster happened, they scrapped that and they got Sir Benjamin Baker and Sir John Fowler to take over with their iconic design. I'll have to have a look and see if I can see this online and maybe try and pull up a photo. But apparently, one of the piers at the Forth Railbridge site was one that Thomas had designed, and it's the only thing of the what would have been his bridge that got built. But yeah, apparently that's still there. I will see if I can find that. Um, but yeah, so there we go. So Thomas Bush, civil engineer. Yeah, remembered for not a good thing. Um, yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. Really, a tough subject to deal with, I think, because as I said, it wasn't all bad what he did, but when he got it wrong, yeah, he really got it wrong. So there we go. Okay, bye.